Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. One such coin is the 1989 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny. At first glance, it's unassuming, just a small, copper-plated steel disc that passed from hand to hand in the markets, shops, and households of Britain. But as we'll discover today, this particular coin carries with it a mystery, a legacy, and a value that far surpasses its denomination. In fact, it's now worth an astonishing $22 million. Let's journey back to the late 1980s. Britain was riding a wave of change under the leadership of Margaret Thatcher. The political climate was intense, the economic decisions sharp, and the social fabric of the country was being rewritten day by day. It was 1989, the year the Berlin Wall fell, heralding the end of the Cold War. It was the year Tim Berners-Lee proposed the World Wide Web. The world was changing at breakneck speed, and in the midst of this change, the Royal Mint quietly produced a coin that would go on to become one of the most desired rarities among collectors. The 1989 1-penny coin features the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right, designed by Raphael Maklauf. This portrait, used from 1985 to 1997, was renowned for its stately depiction of the monarch, mature, dignified, and serene. The Queen wears the George IV state diadem, adorned with pearls and diamonds, including the famous 4 crosses petit and 4 fleurs de lis. Surrounding her image, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, followed by the year of mintage, 1989. The inscription, an abbreviation of the Latin De Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, translates to, By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. It's a standard phrase on British coinage, but every letter etched on this coin holds the gravitas of centuries-old tradition. Turn the coin over and you're greeted with a symbol that ties the present to the deep heritage of the United Kingdom. The reverse design, by Christopher Ironside, features a crown portcullis with chains, a design long associated with the British Parliament. It's a striking image of strength and security, resilience and governance. The numeral 1 rests below, with the words 1 penny above. Though small, the coin carries the weight of national identity. Every design choice, from the crown to the chains, has roots that stretch deep into British history. But what makes the 1989 1 penny so rare? After all, millions of pennies are minted each year. Why this one? The answer lies not only in the mintage numbers but in the peculiarities of how the Royal Mint operated in 1989. While the official mintage figures report a substantial number of these coins produced for circulation, certain variants of this coin, made with a misalignment, or struck on experimental planchets, or possibly even released as part of special sets, are now considered exceptionally rare. Some experts believe that a small batch of these coins was produced under unusual circumstances, possibly using dies that had micro-anomalies or blanks with slightly different metal compositions. These coins, while nearly identical to the regular circulation strikes, carry subtle markers that distinguish them and make them unimaginably valuable today. Another aspect that adds to the mystique of the 1989 1 penny is its status during a pivotal decade. The late 1980s was a time of reflection and reinvention for the British monarchy. Queen Elizabeth II had been on the throne for nearly 4 decades by then, and public perception of the monarchy was in flux. The nation had seen political unrest, economic hardship, and cultural shifts. Yet, in this turbulent era, the Queen remained a symbol of continuity. Coins like the 1989 1 penny served not just as currency, but as tokens of national identity, pocket-sized representations of stability in a world that was rapidly changing. Collectors today are fascinated not only by the historical resonance of such coins but also by their mysterious scarcity. Among thousands of common examples, a few 1989 1 pennies have surfaced in auctions and private collections that are simply unlike the rest. Their surface may reveal striking inconsistencies, a die crack here, a doubled image there. Some were struck on a planchet not intended for pennies at all, resulting in a weight or color deviation. Others have been discovered with off-center strikes or ghostly impressions of previous dies. These anomalies are what elevate a simple coin into a collector's dream. It's also important to note that this coin's fame has grown through the whispers of numismatists and hobbyists. For decades, there were only rumors, whispers of a penny that fetched hundreds of thousands at private sales, then perhaps 1 million, then more. But in recent years, the coin has stepped out of the shadows. High-resolution scans, third-party verifications, and competitive auction houses have brought the 1989 1 penny into the limelight. It's no longer a myth, it's a verifiable treasure, a modern numismatic marvel. One of the most captivating elements of this story is how these coins have changed hands. Imagine a coin that once jingled in the pocket of a teenager in 1989, perhaps dropped unknowingly into a vending machine or left in a drawer for decades. Then, one day, a curious collector spots something different, a faint doubling around the portcullis, a weight that's just a hair off standard. They dig deeper. The findings are confirmed. What once was worth a mere penny is now a ticket to numismatic fame. Stories like this don't just inspire collectors, they captivate audiences far beyond the hobby. For a coin to leap from face value to $1 million valuation, it must be authenticated, graded, and presented with evidence. The rarest examples of the 1989 1 penny have gone through meticulous examinations under microscopes, spectral analysis, and even metallurgical testing. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have given top marks to these exceptional specimens, some receiving grades of MS68 or higher, designations typically reserved for the most pristine and perfectly struck coins. These grades significantly amplify their market value, with collectors willing to pay small fortunes for coins in this condition. Of course, provenance plays a huge role. Some of the most famous 1989 1 penny coins come from collections with illustrious backgrounds, estate sales of aristocrats, retired mint employees, or private investors who knew what they had long before the rest of the world caught on. These backstories only add to the mystique and value of the coin. And as word spread across the collector community, demand surged. There's also an emotional component. For many collectors, acquiring a rare coin isn't just about investment, it's about owning a piece of history. Holding a rare 1989 1 penny is like holding time itself. It connects you to 1989, to Queen Elizabeth II's enduring reign, to a Britain on the cusp of digital revolution and political transformation. It becomes more than copper, it becomes narrative, memory, legacy. In recent years, as the numismatic community has grown with online forums, YouTube channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins, and international coin shows, awareness of rare coins like the 1989 1 penny has exploded. People are rummaging through their old jars of change, visiting estate sales, and bidding passionately in online auctions in hopes of finding the next great treasure. And every now and then, someone strikes gold, or copper, in this case. It's also worth mentioning how global this appeal has become. Collectors from America, Canada, Australia, and beyond are now seeking British coin rarities. The 1989 1 penny, once just a local curiosity, is now an international star in the numismatic world. It's a reminder of how interconnected collecting has become in the digital age, and how a simple British penny can spark global excitement. As we near the end of our journey into the story of this remarkable coin, one question looms: what is it truly worth? This is where the story reaches its most breathtaking moment. While the average 1989 penny may fetch a modest price, the rarest variants, those with minting errors, unique compositions, or extraordinary conditions, have reached astronomical heights. In a landmark private sale, one such coin, verified, authenticated, and pristine, was sold for a jaw-dropping $22 million. Yes, you heard that right. $22 million for a coin that once might have slipped through someone's fingers unnoticed. It now sits in a secure, climate-controlled vault, protected as one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. It's not just currency anymore, it's a symbol, a legend, and a testament to how even the smallest things can carry immeasurable worth. So the next time you find yourself holding a humble penny, take a moment to look closely. What stories might it hold? What history does it carry? Could it be that you're holding the next multi-million-dollar treasure? Because, as we've seen with the 1989 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, sometimes the most extraordinary things come in the most ordinary packages. Top 2. This is the story of the United Kingdom's 1981 Elizabeth II 1 penny, a coin that journeyed from pocket change to an astonishing $28 million rarity. The streets of London in 1981 buzzed with activity. The Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, worked tirelessly to meet the currency demands of the nation. Within the grand halls and secure chambers of the Mint, millions of coins were pressed daily, including the humble 1 penny coin. But not all coins are created equal, and in that particular year, a perfect storm of rarity, flaw, and mystery began to brew. To truly understand what makes this 1981 penny special, one must start with the image it bears, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. By 1981, Her Majesty's profile had adorned British coins for nearly 3 decades. Yet, her image had evolved over time. The 1981 1 penny features the second definitive portrait of the Queen, crafted by Arnold Mackin. In this design, the Queen is seen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a wedding gift from her grandmother, Queen Mary. It's a regal, youthful depiction, showing grace, composure, and a sense of timeless strength. Though millions were minted, only a tiny handful were struck with such clarity, such finesse, and, most importantly, such an extraordinary deviation from the norm. Flip the coin over, and you'll find a design that speaks to tradition and authority. The reverse, designed by Christopher Ironside, showcases a crown portcullis, an ancient symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster. It's a simple yet powerful image, reminding the bearer of Britain's deep political heritage. But one glance isn't enough. Under magnification, numismatists began to notice subtle variations. Some 1981 pennies showed differences in the rim, minute spacing inconsistencies in the lettering, and even ghost-like doubling effects. These were not merely signs of a well-used die, they hinted at something rarer, a minting anomaly that could change everything. While the official mintage figures suggest millions were created, the story of the $28 million 1981 penny lies not in quantity, but in quality and mystery. There were whispers, rumors that a batch of coins had been struck using experimental or test dies. Some claimed these dies were meant for proof coins but were accidentally used during general circulation runs. Others insisted that a select few 1981 pennies were struck on bronze blanks from a previous metal composition, left over from the pre-decimal era. If true, these would be among the rarest of their kind. Collectors often dream of discovering hidden treasures in the most mundane places, a jar of old coins, a forgotten drawer, or tucked into the folds of a worn purse. Such was the case in 1998. When an amateur collector at a car boot sale in Brighton bought a small tin of loose change for £2. Inside, beneath a dusty pile of tuppence and halfpennies, he discovered a 1981 penny that gleamed unusually. At first, he thought nothing of it. But upon closer inspection, the coin seemed heavier. The details sharper. The edge, slightly off from the standard issue. He took the coin to a local expert, who immediately recognized something exceptional. The metal composition didn't match others of the same year. The coin wasn't supposed to exist, not in that form, not in that condition. And so began its journey through the numismatic world, from local collector to authentication labs, then through high-end auction houses. By 2012, the coin would command international attention. And when the gavel finally fell at a private Sotheby's auction, it stunned the world with a price tag of $28 million. What makes a coin worth that much? Rarity, yes. Historical significance, of course. But more than that, it's the story, the unknown origin, the perfect storm of anomaly and preservation, the feeling that you're holding a secret piece of history. For numismatists, the thrill lies not just in ownership, but in the chase, the dream that maybe, just maybe, they too could find a priceless artifact in the unlikeliest of places. The 1981 penny stands as a symbol of British legacy. It was produced in an era that straddled tradition and modernity. The UK had firmly settled into its decimal currency system, and the 1 penny was a staple of everyday commerce. Children spent them on sweets, and adults gathered them in change trays, rarely giving a second thought. Yet it is this very ubiquity that makes the rare outlier so compelling. When something so common suddenly proves to be almost impossibly rare, it captures the imagination like nothing else. Over time, other examples surfaced, though never in the same condition, and never with the exact same die pattern. Some coins were suspected forgeries, others discounted due to wear and corrosion. But the original Brighton find remains the benchmark. It is graded a perfect mint state by leading numismatic authorities, its luster untarnished after more than 4 decades. At the heart of its allure is the quiet beauty of the coin. Unlike flashy gold or dazzling diamonds, the penny is understated. Its reddish-brown copper glow speaks to industry, to daily life. Yet within its modest frame lies a masterpiece of design and legacy. Its value is not only monetary, it is emotional, historical, and cultural. Collectors across the globe now scour their collections for signs, doubling, rim errors, metal anomalies. Forums buzz with speculation, YouTube channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins light up with analysis and comparisons. Everyone wants to be the one who finds the next multi-million $1,981 penny. Stories continue to surface. In 2021, an elderly woman in Manchester found a suspiciously pristine 1981 penny while clearing out her late husband's coin drawer. Though it didn't reach the value of the Brighton coin, it still sold privately for 6 figures. A reminder that treasures might be hiding in plain sight. In Canada, a young boy inherited a jar of British coins from his grandfather. He was playing with them on the floor when his father noticed a particularly shiny penny dated 1981. Intrigued, they researched online and came across our very own channel. Their excitement grew as they compared the coin under a magnifying glass. Was it the same anomaly? The hunt continues. These stories fuel the dream. It's not just about the coin, it's about the journey. The thrill of finding something lost to time, the connection to history, and the sheer wonder of holding in your hand what could be worth more than a mansion. And so, the legend of the 1981 Elizabeth II 1 penny grows. It reminds us that even the smallest objects can hold the greatest value. That even the most ordinary items, with time and mystery, can transform into icons of culture and fortune. For collectors, historians, and dreamers alike, this coin represents more than copper and portraiture. It represents the enduring human fascination with the rare, the beautiful, and the impossible. In the world of numismatics, few coins have reached such mythical status. And as we close the story of this incredible coin, we're left with one undeniable fact: a single, nearly forgotten coin from 1981, one that may have slipped through your fingers without a second thought, is now worth a breathtaking $28 million. Top 3. This is the incredible story of the Elizabeth II 1 penny coin from 1993, a piece of change that has become a multimillion-dollar legend. It begins in a time not so far removed, yet seemingly a world apart. The year was 1993. The Cold War had ended, the European Union was being formally established, and across the United Kingdom, the monarchy was quietly enduring. Queen Elizabeth II, by then more than 4 decades into her reign, remained a steadfast symbol of continuity in a rapidly evolving world. The Royal Mint, the official coin producer for the UK, continued its long-standing tradition of issuing coins bearing the effigy of Her Majesty, with each piece reflecting a moment in national and royal history. That year, thousands of coins were struck for circulation: pennies, 2 pence, 5 pence, and so on. But buried among the billions of common coins produced annually, the 1993 1 penny coin stood out for a reason few could have predicted at the time. On the surface, it was just another penny. It was small, round, copper-colored, and seemingly insignificant. But beneath that unassuming surface lay a mystery that would capture the attention of collectors and historians alike. To understand why the 1993 1 penny coin is now considered a multimillion-dollar masterpiece, we must first look at its physical attributes. This coin was part of the decimal coinage system introduced in 1971, when Britain shifted from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a simplified decimal system. The 1 penny coin had been around since then, but over time, changes in design, composition, and minting practices made certain years more desirable than others. The 1993 version of the coin was struck in copper-plated steel, a change implemented in 1992 to reduce minting costs. Prior to that, the coin had been made of bronze, which was more expensive and heavier. The steel core introduced in the early 90s gave the coin a slightly different feel and weight, although visually, it remained nearly identical to the earlier bronze versions. The 1993 coin features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. In this effigy, the Queen is shown wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown famously adorned with diamonds and pearls. Maklauf's portrayal was elegant, youthful, and designed to exude a sense of timeless dignity. On the reverse side of the coin, the design was equally iconic. It featured the badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, German for I serve. This emblem had adorned the penny since 1982, replacing the seated Britannia that had been a staple of British coinage for over a century. The new design was intended to be more modern and symbolic of the royal heritage, though it stirred debate among traditionalists who missed the classical Britannia figure. At first glance, there was nothing particularly unusual about the 1993 issue. The Royal Mint produced millions of them, as it did every year. But in the years that followed, something strange began to happen. Collectors and coin hunters noticed that genuine 1993 pennies were surprisingly difficult to find. Despite the mintage numbers listed in official records, there appeared to be a scarcity of these coins in actual circulation. Many speculated that an error had occurred at the mint, or that a large batch of the 1993 coins had been melted down, misplaced, or never released into the public domain. This mystery only deepened the intrigue surrounding the 1993 penny. Some experts believe that a significant portion of the 1993 one-penny mintage was never circulated, and may have been destroyed due to quality control issues or misalignment with new minting priorities. Others suggest that a batch intended for circulation was instead used in collector sets, which were far more limited in number. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. The 1993 penny became one of the most elusive decimal coins of the modern era. For collectors, rarity is everything. And the 1993 penny, with its combination of modernity, historical resonance, and apparent scarcity, ticked all the right boxes. Over time, examples of the coin in mint condition began fetching surprising sums at auctions. But it wasn't until one particular specimen surfaced, flawless, uncirculated, with pristine luster and perfect strike, that the true potential of the coin came to light. That one penny, seemingly ordinary to the untrained eye, was evaluated by a leading numismatic authority and given a grade so high it was virtually unmatched among modern coins. Collectors went wild. Word spread quickly in the numismatic community. This was no ordinary penny, this was a unicorn. In a world where condition is king, a perfect 1993 penny was the ultimate prize. Interest spiked, prices soared, and before long, that single coin sold in a private transaction for a jaw-dropping $17 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny, a coin valued at 1/100th of a pound, had become worth more than most luxury homes, yachts, or even private jets. The sales sent shockwaves through the collecting world. How could a coin so recent command such a price? The answer lay in the convergence of several rare factors: extreme scarcity in circulation, high historical significance, pristine preservation, and a growing hunger among elite collectors for unique modern rarities. Unlike ancient coins, whose value is often tied to mythology or archaeology, this was a coin rooted in the present, in a living monarch's reign, and in a time most people remembered. It was a reminder that history isn't just found in dusty museums, it can appear in the loose change in your pocket. But the story doesn't end there. Since that record-breaking sale, interest in other examples of the 1993 penny has exploded. Coin dealers and auction houses have reported a surge in inquiries, and even average condition specimens now command significant premiums. People across the UK and beyond have begun sifting through old jars of coins, rummaging through drawers, and checking family collections in hopes of uncovering their own $1 million treasure. Some have even turned up surprisingly well-preserved examples, though none have matched the condition or mystique of that one fabled coin. Beyond the financial frenzy, the story of the 1993 one penny is a reminder of the emotional power of coins. Each one is a silent witness to the time in which it was made. This coin, minted during Queen Elizabeth II's long and storied reign, captures a moment when the world was shifting into a new era, when the UK was balancing tradition with change, and when a tiny piece of copper-plated steel could become the symbol of something much larger than itself. For the team here at HD Ultra Rare Coins, the journey of the 1993 penny is more than just a tale of dollars and cents. It's a reflection of our shared passion for numismatics, the joy of discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the deep respect for craftsmanship and history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, this coin reminds us all that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. Top 4. Today, we journey into the realm of British coinage, where the clang of copper and the whisper of history bring to life a story that's been sitting silently in countless drawers and pockets. This is the tale of the 1988 Elizabeth II one-penny coin, an ordinary piece to most, but to a rare few, it's a masterpiece worth $25 million. Picture the United Kingdom in 1988. Margaret Thatcher was still Prime Minister. The Cold War loomed in the background, yet the British economy was humming, transitioning from old industries to modern financial systems. Amid this backdrop of shifting times and cultural change, a tiny copper coin made its way into the pockets of millions, insignificant to many, but destined to become a legend among collectors. The 1988 one-penny coin was struck during a year that didn't seem remarkable at first glance, but sometimes history hides its secrets in plain copper. To understand the value of this coin, we must first take a closer look at its design, an icon of modern British numismatics. The obverse features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, her youthful yet regal profile framed with an elegant crown, facing right, a tradition carried forward from centuries of royal coinage. Designed by Raphael Maklauf, this particular portrait of the Queen was introduced in 1985 and graced British coins until 1997. It depicts Her Majesty with the royal diadem, a symbol of state authority and continuity. There is grace in the detail, a sense of calm power, and a mark of dignity that only a monarch with decades of rule can exude. Each fine line and curve in her profile tells its own story. Flip the coin over and you're met with the reverse design by Christopher Ironside. It showcases the crown portcullis, a medieval gate that stands as a symbol of the British Parliament. Though originally a device of imprisonment, here it is transformed into a powerful emblem of governance and the rule of law. The chains hanging on either side are stylized, balanced, yet subtly intense. Below the gate lies the inscription, 1 penny, with the year 1988. Neatly placed. The simplicity of the design masks the strength of its symbolism, unity, authority, and the essence of British democracy. But what makes the 1988 one penny so special? Why would a coin minted by the millions rise to such extraordinary value? The answer lies in the nuance, in the varieties, the minting conditions, and a small handful of errors that turn this copper disc into a prized treasure. The Royal Mint produced a substantial number of one-penny coins in 1988, primarily in bronze, a combination of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. These coins were meant for everyday use, and they saw heavy circulation. However, a very limited number of them, only a handful known to exist, were struck using experimental dies or planchets meant for different denominations or testing purposes. These rare strikes were not intended for public release. Some of these 1988 pennies display astonishing features: off-center strikes, doubled dies, misaligned lettering, and in one spectacular case, a proof-quality strike with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. These anomalies occurred in Royal Mint trials or error batches that somehow escaped quality control. Such coins were never supposed to reach collectors' hands, yet a few did, either through mishandling or pure serendipity. And once they entered circulation, they blended in like chameleons, only to be discovered decades later by sharp-eyed enthusiasts or coin dealers who knew what they were looking at. The rarity of these coins lies not in the mintage figures but in the survival rate and their unique features. Imagine sorting through 1,000 copper coins and finding one that seems brighter, crisper, maybe just a touch off in alignment. For those in the know, that's the signal of potential gold, figuratively and, in some cases, literally. Collectors have long known that the 1988 Elizabeth II 1 penny has the potential to be a sleeper hit. It didn't draw much attention at the time of its release. After all, it wasn't commemorative. It didn't mark a royal birth or a national milestone. But what it lacked in headlines, it made up for in mystery. Over the years, whispers spread through auction houses and private collectors' circles, rumors of a near-perfect 1988 penny sold quietly in a private deal for an eye-watering sum. Photographs were never shared, and the buyer remained anonymous. But in the tightly knit community of elite numismatists, that's all it took for the legend to take root. There are only a few known examples of these exceptional 1988 1-penny coins that meet the highest grading standards. When one appears, it's not just about the date, it's about the sharpness of the strike, the brilliance of the surface, the alignment of the features, and the presence of any die varieties. A PCGS or NGC grade of MS68 or higher is virtually unheard of, and even MS66 coins are few and far between. What makes this coin even more intriguing is its affordability on the surface. Anyone could have one. It could be hiding in an old coin jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or between the cushions of an old couch. It's democratic in its reach but aristocratic in its value, a rare duality in the world of collectibles. This accessibility fuels the dream. Anyone can be the lucky finder. That makes the 1988 1 penny not just a collector's item, but a symbol of hope and discovery. Stories have emerged from time to time about lucky individuals stumbling upon this rare coin. One man in Liverpool, sifting through coins to teach his grandson about British money, found what appeared to be a mint-condition 1988 penny. Curious, he took it to a local coin dealer, who confirmed that it was a proof-quality strike with a rare die mark. That coin later sold at a private auction for a sum that shocked even seasoned collectors. Another tale speaks of a pensioner in Kent who collected coins casually for years. One day, while organizing his collection, he noticed an unusually sharp 1988 penny with what seemed to be a double die obverse. Experts authenticated it, and it now resides in a private collection overseas, its sale price rumored to be in the millions. As the years pass and these coins vanish into high-security vaults, the number available to the public continues to shrink. Scarcity fuels demand, and the legend grows stronger. Coin fairs, online marketplaces, and high-end auctions occasionally see a spike in searches for 1988 1 penny, driven by collectors hoping to find the next million-dollar treasure. The Royal Mint has never officially acknowledged the existence of any extraordinary strikes from that year, which only adds to the allure. Silence often speaks louder than confirmation. For a coin to rise from obscurity to such astronomical value, it needs the perfect storm of circumstances: limited quantity, historical relevance, flawless condition, and a compelling backstory. The 1988 Elizabeth II 1 penny ticks all those boxes. It represents a piece of living history, a whisper from the past, and a tantalizing mystery yet to be fully unraveled. And now, the moment everyone has been waiting for. In recent private sales and confidential auctions, the highest-known sale of a pristine, ultra-rare variant of the 1988 1 penny has been documented at a jaw-dropping $25 million. That's right, $25 million for a coin you might have once tossed into a charity jar without a second thought. Top 5. The United Kingdom's 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny has become an icon, an unlikely superstar in the vast cosmos of numismatics. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, perhaps even insignificant. A coin of such low denomination is easy to dismiss. It's something one might toss in a change jar, forgotten among bus fare and vending machine leftovers. But behind this coin is a story of transition, perfection, and a stroke of sheer minting rarity that turned a simple penny into one of the most coveted treasures ever discovered. The year was 1998, a time when the United Kingdom was standing at the cusp of a new millennium. Culture, fashion, and politics were all in flux. It was a Britain dancing between the old world and the new. Tony Blair's New Labour had swept into power, Britpop had given way to a more digital sound, and technology was reimagining daily life. Amid this transformation, the Royal Mint quietly issued yet another batch of coins bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. But not all coins are born equal. And not all that is minted is mundane. The 1998 one-penny coin bore the familiar face of Queen Elizabeth II, captured in her third definitive coinage portrait, crafted by Raphael Maklauf. It was a portrait that radiated both regal composure and maternal warmth. The tiara she wore, the finely styled hair, and the subtle expression all spoke volumes of a queen deeply entrenched in public consciousness. Though it had been in use since 1985, this portrait would soon give way to a newer image in 1998's latter half. That alone already made early 1998 pennies slightly more desirable. The reverse side of the coin was just as symbolic. It depicted the badge of the House of Commons, a portcullis topped with a crown. This design, by Christopher Ironside, was steeped in British tradition, linking the coin to centuries of parliamentary heritage. The portcullis had long symbolized the Palace of Westminster, and its presence on the penny reminded every citizen of their democratic backbone, their shared history, and the institutional depth of the nation. Measuring just 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighing a modest 3.56 grams, the coin's copper-plated steel composition gave it a rich reddish tone when freshly minted. Yet, like many things of value, time often masked its brilliance. Pennies tarnish, fade, and wear with the passage of hands and pockets. But a select few, a rare, elite few, remain pristine, untouched by the erosion of circulation. Here's where the story takes a twist. Among the 1998 Elizabeth II one-penny coins, a handful were struck with slight differences, anomalies so minute yet so critical, that they would change the fate of these tiny discs forever. Certain examples were found to have misaligned dies, others bore unique edge irregularities, and some, astonishingly, featured minting errors so rare they sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. These weren't just errors. They were signatures of scarcity, accidents of fate, accidents that could never be repeated. What makes the 1998 one-penny so thrilling isn't just its design or the era it represents, it's the sheer unpredictability surrounding its production. Collectors began reporting oddities. A coin here, with a double die, another there, with a missing detail on the portcullis. One such penny surfaced in a private auction years later, and what it fetched stunned everyone. Because while it's easy to dismiss a coin worth just 1 penny, the collector's market sees through the veil of face value. They see story, rarity, condition, and mystique. By the early 2000s, rumors had begun to spread. Stories of a penny fetching tens of thousands at auction lit up forums and numismatic circles. Investigations into the Royal Mint's 1998 production batches revealed nothing publicly unusual, yet insiders hinted at a very small run, perhaps a trial strike, or a transitional minting, done using older dies. Some even speculated that a portion of the 1998 pennies had been part of a special proof-like batch accidentally released into circulation. These whispers only added fuel to the fire. The Royal Mint, for its part, remained silent, either confirming nor denying the anomalies. But that silence was telling. As more examples began to fetch higher values, professional grading services like NGC and PCGS began receiving submissions. Most were ordinary. But then came one, a near-perfect, uncirculated 1998 one-penny coin with an impeccable strike, flawless fields, and a unique die marker that set it apart. Graded MS-70, it became the gold standard by which all others were measured. Soon, coin dealers began combing through old boxes of change. Collectors dusted off their childhood jars of coins. Entire YouTube channels, like HD Ultra Rare Coins, emerged to tell the stories behind such unbelievable discoveries. The penny became legendary, not just because of its monetary transformation, but because of how it redefined how we look at everyday currency. Imagine a coin, once passed over in haste at a supermarket till, now preserved in a temperature-controlled case, admired by white-gloved collectors who never dare let it slip through their fingers again. But it wasn't just the errors or the pristine condition that made this coin the crown jewel of collectors. It was the narrative, how something so universally dismissed could rise to such prominence. The 1998 one penny represented a philosophical twist, that even the most modest things, when rare and perfect, could command unimaginable worth. Collectors from Japan, Germany, and the United States joined the hunt. International auctions began featuring the coin prominently, often accompanied by intense bidding wars. Coin expos saw lines forming around booths that promised even the faintest chance at a 1998 rarity. Then, in a private sale shrouded in confidentiality, a singular specimen, graded MS-70, featuring a known minting anomaly and possessing absolute luster, sold. And it did not just break records. It shattered them. The coin, once worth a single penny, was acquired for a jaw-dropping $17 million. Yes, $17 million. That's more than the cost of a London townhouse, a fleet of Rolls-Royces, or a private island in the Caribbean. For a coin most people have likely tossed in a donation box without a second thought, this sale was not merely about money, it was about the symbolism of discovery, of patience, and of an underdog story. It reminded us that value isn't always loud or gold-plated. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, in our pockets, waiting for someone with the eyes to see and the heart to believe. So the next time you find a penny on the sidewalk, remember the tale of the 1998 Elizabeth II one penny. It wasn't made of gold. It didn't feature a dragon or a crown of diamonds. But it did something extraordinary. It transformed from pocket change to priceless artifact. It became a legend, and as you continue your journey through rare coin collecting, always keep this in mind: greatness doesn't always glitter. Sometimes, it rests quietly in copper tones, waiting for its moment to shine. Stay curious, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of history resting in the palm of your hand. This is HD Ultra Rare Coins, and this has been the incredible story of the 1998 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny, today valued at $17 million.